Yo, it's your Renegade Ringmaster, Frankie Slauson, and you've just crash-landed into Renegade Radio, the podcast that's part rock show, part fever dream, and 100% certified Midwestern mayhem. We've had guests that'll blow your mind and tickle your nostalgia bone. Paul Myers, brother of Mike Myers, talking John Candy and comedy gold. Bill Kinnison, brother of Sam Kinnison, dropping truth bombs like it's 1989. Ron Wasserman, the dude who made Go-Go Power Rangers a battle anthem. Jay David from Dr. Hook. Robbie V, son of Bobby V. Max Hightower, bluesman extraordinaire. And that's just the tip of the Renegade iceberg. And guess what? We go live every Monday night at 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time on Facebook. That's right, real-time Renegade action with Frankie and friends. Tune in, laugh hard, and maybe learn something weird.
When it comes to podcasts and social media, stick with the best. Grand Forks' best source. Keep up to date with local happenings and news, interviews with city leaders, athletes, nonprofits, and of course, lots of feel-good stories. You know, Grand Forks' best source is a great way to advertise your business or events with the most economical ad packages available. And contact us to find out how you can have your own podcast with the best studio in the area. Check out Grand Forks' best source on your favorite social media app. Grand Forks' best source, the Forks' best local podcast. Call 701-213-0863 or online at gfbestsource.com. We love the Forks. Grand Forks' best source, giving the Forks their identity again.
All right, now we can speak. I didn't mean to cut you off, by the way, either. I didn't know you were going to still see, it mutes you and stuff. When you,
I didn't even know you did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It mutes your audio and stuff when I play a video. So.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that StreamYard does that, but that's just what they do.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't coughing and snotting around here. I mean, that would have been obnoxious to, that's a hell of an introduction.
Yeah, you could call me a fucker for all I know. I would have heard it.
I don't know you well enough to call you a fucker.
Oh, well, that's all right. That's all right.
But if you are, wear it like a badge.
That's right. Badge of honor. Well, I tell you what, man, this is going to be a fun interview because ever since we started talking last week, I remember hearing your voice, years ago, mostly because of the wrestling and everything, and WWE. And then I remember hearing you on Grand Theft Auto 4, doing some stuff. You must have did some stuff for Grand Theft Auto 4, or unless that was somebody else's voice.
I don't remember doing that. Yeah, I did when I was like 19 when I was doing stuff for HBO and Cinemax.
Okay.
And then for many years, I don't. Did I? I mean,
well, it's not Ed Weigle anyway on the GTA for
really?
Credits. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah.
You remember?
Well, I did have a stroke, so I mean, sometimes.
Okay. Probably bring back your memory. A thing called Weasel News, because or Liberty City News or something, because Grand Theft Auto 4 was kind of like it's a very successful video game series.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto series, and I just remember hearing a voice that sounded just like yours anyway. And whether you did it or not.
The paycheck must not have been good enough that I remember it. So that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, I think a lot of people remember me for the legendary child music video for Aerosmith. Which I did back in 2012. And that was fun, because Steven Tyler wrote that stuff, and we had a blast with that. And we were supposed to do 5 more, and then that was like their first album in 12 years, and then Sony pulled the plug on it because I guess the sales sucked. And, I was kind of, I thought, damn, I look forward to that. I liked Aerosmith. But anyway.
So Ed, how would you, in a nutshell, kind of, for people that are learning about you or that don't know about you, how would you describe yourself, what would you describe yourself as? I mean, I know what you are, but what would to the average person listening or watching, how would you describe yourself?
Oh, I'm just a voice actor. I mean, I've been doing this for, in May, it'll be 46 years, because I was 13 when I got into it.
And usually you get into radio and then you become a voice actor because somebody says, hey, I'd like you to do my commercial. But I did everything bass backwards in my business.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like my middle name anymore. But I mean, I just, started doing that, and that led into radio and television and a career in that a lot. And then when I realized, looked at my paycheck, and I thought, what the hell are you doing in this goddamn business? Because you were making more money doing voiceover. So I went and did that exclusively years ago. And of course, I became the voice of World Wrestling Entertainment back in September of '01, actually. I started doing it. I was actually running two radio stations in Indianapolis. I was the operations manager, and then I was trying to do both, converted my office into a studio, and it became obvious that I had to do one thing. And a buddy of mine, the late great Nick Summers, who was I think one of the best voice actors ever, he said, "Look, I need you down here in Florida." And I was actually his replacement at a company called Tour Design, and they're still around. They do a lot of the concert spots and stuff, and they're pretty much they're them and Bill Young Productions. And Nick, one of the deals that he had was Nick had to hire his replacement, which was me, and we'd always appreciated each other's work. And so I came in, and I thought he moved. I thought he was moving his young family to Florida. I just didn't know where. And somebody told me, I think he's moving to Naples. And I thought, oh, okay, he's in Naples. What the hell? I moved to Naples. And he said, no, he's in Inglewood. Well, my family discovered this little place where I live now called Venice, Florida, in 1959 when Mom and Dad came down, and there was nothing here. And Inglewood is like a bike ride away, 15, 20 minutes or so. And I said, "You're kidding me." It was the easiest move I ever made. So I mean that's how I came down here. And we were doing all the stuff for WWE from Inglewood, Florida. And I was with them for about 24 years until I got colon cancer and had a
Okay.
stroke. And
At the same time?
well, yeah, when I was on chemo, that's when I had the stroke. Thankfully, you can see that I'm able to speak with you semi-coherently, I guess. But
No,
I
it
mean,
sounds
it
great.
was yeah, it was a rough time. But I got through it. I'm cured and cancer free, and I'm still functional. But I don't, I'm not going to work that kind of a schedule anymore. But I knew, with all that nonsense, I knew I couldn't keep up with it. So we brought another guy in who filled in, I guess essentially replaced me. And then
Okay.
when I was well enough to come back, by that time, my friend Vince McMahon had a little issue. And anyway,
Yeah.
he sold the company. And so he, I I think the last WWE spot I did was I think December 30th for a gig we did in Detroit. And that was
Okay.
it because we used to buy pretty much a regular schedule, radio, television, and then they would do all the social media. Well, I was never involved in the television or the social media. That was all done in house and Titan Towers up in
Okay.
what
In Stanford.
that's
Yeah.
Stanford, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
or it was done in New York. So I mean, I really never had anything to do with that. So I guess I'm kind of still on the clock here and
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
But I
Well,
mean,
yeah. I mean, that's what's kind of strange about it because it's like, now that you really think about it, or now that you've said it, it's like, I can remember hearing your voice, like, but see, maybe that's where I got the confusion because like a lot of times when people when like the narrator would do like the trailer and stuff
yeah,
or the opening of the events or whatever for the pay-per-views or the PLEs that we call them
yeah,
now or whatever. Uh, Everybody tried to almost be like the last person that used to work there. So it's like everybody kind
yeah,
of sound like I mean, they sound like how they're supposed to in telling a story of how this pay per view is supposed to go and everything. Blah
yeah.
blah blah. So I'm sure. I swear I've heard your voice before in that, unless it was somebody else's. But it's
Well,
like
like I
you can always
say,
get those cuts.
about
You know?
46 years now, so I
Yeah.
bet you have.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's why
yeah.
people think, my God, this guy's got to be older than fucking dirt, and I'm only
Well,
58.
you have a voice of an old guy. You don't
Yeah,
sound like I mean, I know you're 58, but I mean, like you had this voice forever, obviously.
Well, I
Always,
had it even as a kid, and that's why I when I started out on radio, I was playing oldies and doo-wop back in Pittsburgh on the radio,
yeah.
and they would never let me do the personal appearances because they see a 15-year-old face, they're going to think, "What the hell is going on here?" And
So your voice was this like this when you were a little kid, or kind of.
online, you'll find maybe very early interviews of me, and I really don't think my voice has changed all that much. You know,
Wow.
even as a I was like I say, I was 13 when I got into voiceover, and then 15 when I went to radio.
But
And
you're still you'd still be in school though. I mean, how did you manage to do that and go to school at the
oh
same time?
well, mom and dad, they'd give me a ride to the station. When I turned 16, I had a car. Of course, before then, I was doing DJ gigs and stuff. Different appearances around town. It was great because all I had to do is pick up the phone. When Dad told me, he said, "I'm going to buy you your first car," I said, "You know something? I'd rather have as a reel-to-reel tape machine that I was looking at. It was a Studer Revox." And he said, "A reel-to-reel? You don't want a car?" I said, "No." I said, "I can pick up the phone. Anybody's going to drive me anywhere because all I got to do is throw them $20 and they'll help me out with what I'm doing." And I ended up getting both. But I mean, and I still have the reel-to-reel. It's somewhere in this mess.
Wow.
But yeah, but that's car's long gone. But
Oh, I can
yeah,
imagine. Yeah, man.
it
So
was
your
an
childhood
it
must
was
have
an
been something.
'81 Honda Accord. Or no, what the
Okay.
hell was it? Accord? Was it a Honda Accord? Yeah, I guess it was. Okay, whatever.
See, because now I was born in '83, so I'm 42 right now. I just turned 42,
You're
and
you're
it's
just a
like,
child.
oh yeah, yeah, just a baby, like everybody keeps saying. It's like, yeah, yeah, I feel like it's
No,
a.
not a child. Obviously, you've come a long way from that. But yeah, I've got I'm looking at believe it or not, my 11th grandchild coming up.
Oh wow!
My
Oh,
my my my
congratulations!
son and little girl who live here with us. I mean, they're expecting. So I mean,
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
fun.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
since I got to know you a little bit, I've been following your posts on Facebook and stuff, and it's like,
Oh,
yeah, you're definitely an interesting. I mean, I would love to hang out with you for a day and see what it's like because I feel you're a very
sure.
interesting person.
Yeah, it's a polite way of saying he's a fucking goofball. Um,
No, no, no. I have more respect for you than that. Jeez.
well, thank you.
No,
Well,
because
my,
I
my
mean,
my
your
my
posts are
wife will
interesting
call
with
me
the
that when
cats
she
and
gets home.
everything and all that. You obviously are an animal lover. You have a lot going on, but just as a semi-retired guy, because you're
Hmm.
probably about semi-retired, like you talked about, and you're taking a lighter schedule. I mean, you're
Oh, I
making
have
more
to.
time for things. Have you
Yeah.
always just been kind of working for yourself type of person, or I mean, you had to work for other people, obviously, but like
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
mostly from your own home or whatnot,
Well,
or
I
did
mean,
you have
this
your own?
this this is it. To my right is a whisper room where I do all the stuff. I mean, because I'm currently the voice of the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey team,
Oh,
the NHL hockey team, and
wow.
I do a lot of other things for different people, a lot of radio stations around the world, really. Um, and so, I just I do as much as I want to because I will never get to the point where I'm getting like it was with WWE. A lot of times I'd get like 40 spots. And
Uh-huh.
I would not only, I never used a script because I knew what was going on. I would basically produce it, voice it, send it out, get it approved by the promoter, and off it would go to the radio station within, a couple days. And I knew there's no way in hell I can do, and I don't want to do that now. I don't want to do that. I go in fact, I don't produce anything since the stroke. At least
Okay,
that's
sure.
at least that's my excuse.
Uh-huh.
Whether it's true,
Well,
but I
it's
mean,
kind of
I'll go in and voice things all day long for somebody, and then send them the voice track and let you produce it.
well.
And
See, I kind of like your method to that because now that you've started to slow down a little bit because of just how things have been. I feel
yeah,
like that's kind of what killed Hulk Hogan. Not to slow him down, but like he kept on going and going and going, and he had all these surgeries and everything. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, it's sad that it happened, but I think it
yeah,
just
yeah.
he never settled down. He felt like people were going to forget about him and all that. I felt it anyway.
Well, he was a hard worker. I mean, I knew Hulk, and I liked him. He was a great guy. I when did the last I was a little disappointed in Hulk that he didn't show up for Mean Gene Okerlund's memorial service, because Gene was a dear friend of mine and Colleen's. But I mean, the last time I saw him, it was up at Universal. Jermaine Jackson, Michael Jackson's brother, had sent me and Irene Gottlieb up there because we were looking at doing a music show on MTV. Can you imagine that?
Oh, wow.
Not a bunch of pregnant teenagers and all that other horse shit, but we were actually putting music back on fucking MTV.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so we went up there, and I totally forgot that TNA was it, or I mean, I'm walking past Kurt Angle and Eric Bischoff, and I'm like,
Sure.
oh, I forgot they were up here shooting this thing.
Back?
It would have
Yeah.
it would have been such a great thing because you have busloads of people coming in there. They've got all these sound stages. I could have been really at home there had this show worked out. But you got a million concepts of shows out there,
Yeah.
and literally they and I ran into Hulk up there, and it was right after that damn video of him stooping that Putz's wife, who
Okay. Sure.
I won't even name. I don't even
Sure.
care for the man at all. But I mean, anyway, I'm like, oh geez, what am I going to say? Nice dick. But anyway, and he said, "What the hell are you doing up here?" So I explained to him, I said, what we were doing.
That's something me and Gene would probably have said.
Well, Gino would have appreciated it. I mean, but we. So anyway, that was the last time we really spoke. But I mean, I always liked him. He was a good man, I thought.
Oh yeah.
And but sadly, the TV show never went off. We were supposed to have like the sons and daughters of famous singers and whatever. We were supposed to incorporate that into it, and it got into an argument at MTV where the producer and the creator didn't like each other, and finally they just threw their hands up and said, "No thanks." And that was it. And I said, shit, we could have put music back on MTV. It really pissed me off.
Oh, damn close, I tell you.
And I was supposed to be the announcer,
Oh, wow. Well, you would have been a good announcer because maybe that would have brought people more.
I'd have had a blast. Yeah, I'd have had a blast. But all these, I was supposed to be in New York City twice over the years, and every time something went wrong at the 11th hour. And now, when the last time I was up in New York was for a negotiation with WWE, and I said there was a time I would have killed to live in New York City. Now, this car ride is going to kill me because I'm white knuckled on there. I'm like, get me the hell out of here. Let's get back to the airport and fly back to Venice, Florida. So, God, no thanks. I'm a small town boy now. I mean, no, those days are over.
I've never been to New York. I've been to the West Coast before, but never to California. The farthest has always been like Oregon or Washington. Because I took the Amtrak train a few years ago to go over there. Yeah. I've never been to New York though, and I just it's kind of funny because now when WWE comes and does their tours or whatever, they don't come to Grand Forks or Fargo anymore. And I'm only like 45 minutes from Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Really?
So it's like,
I know we used to do shows there all the time.
Oh, absolutely, and I remember that. But the last show that I ever went to was in 2019, August of 2019. They did it at the Ralph Engel Center or at the Alaris Center, and it wasn't packed, but it was still a house show for a Saturday afternoon or whatever, all right. And it was just like, I don't understand. It's like ever since COVID and all that stuff, WWE and AEW hasn't even been over here yet. I mean, they keep going to either Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or Minneapolis, Minnesota, and that's it. They don't come to anything else, around.
Well, if Jim Ross is watching this, I just ordered a shitload of your barbecue sauce the other day, pal. That's the best. I mean, there's an endorsement. Jim, you got to pay me for that now.
Yeah, well, that's a guy that I would love to interview. There's a lot of people over the years that I'm surprised that I've had a chance to interview. I don't know if you had a chance to look at some of the stuff that I did or not.
Yeah. Well, I did the promo for it. I thought, oh, really? You interview this guy, Sam Kinison, and all these other people?
Well, cool. Sam Kinison's brother. Not
Sam. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's just all through connections, and especially from doing the podcast and everything. But I have over 20 years. I have over 20 years of radio history of just doing
Mhm.
interviews and stuff and other shows and whatever. And I wanted to be like the next Wolfman Jack. Even back when I first went to college, I didn't want to be a salesman. I didn't understand why everybody wanted to make people salespeople. I just
Well,
wanted
you
to be
got a
in an
beard anyway. I mean,
well, I never. This took a while to grow too. It's like, but in my younger days, though, when I was I was 18 in 2002 when I graduated from high school, and I decided to go to broadcasting school to try it out because I didn't know we
Mhm.
had a college that actually offered broadcasting. I didn't know
Right.
that.
Yeah.
It's been around for a long time since the 60s. I had
Yeah.
no clue, and so I tried it out, and I was nervous a little bit because I see I was born with a cleft palate. And I
Hmm.
that means that have a hard time speaking, and
Right.
sometimes you sound more nasally than you really are in your life. And it wasn't
Uh-huh.
a bad enough ballot, but it was just like I still kind of have a hole in the roof of my mouth. So
Hmm.
I had speech and I had special ed and all that throughout my school time and whatnot. But like during the college years, I was kind of afraid to do the cassette checks, the air checks that we used to do back in the day. I'm
Hmm.
sure you
Right.
know what I'm talking about because you got hundreds of thousands of hours of hearing your voice and everything. But like for a guy like me, my voice was not that good for radio at that time. And I think after I volunteered and really put more effort into it after being gone from it for a little
Yeah.
bit, it gave me the chance to sound more, you know, to sound more like professional because a lot of people nowadays when they hear me talk, they don't hear a cleft palate, they don't hear much
Well,
nasally.
I certainly don't, and I don't think you have a bad voice at all. And did you ever meet Wolf, by the way?
No, no, but
Oh, yeah.
his nephew is in one is my crew one of my crew members.
Really? Oh God.
Yeah.
I loved him. He came my mentor was a guy back home in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a guy named Porky Chedwick, who's he's not inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but he's in that radio thing.
Extra wing maybe the side wing or something.
Hell's it called? Yeah, dedicated to the one I love. It's called where you can actually go into the Hall of Fame and listen to air checks. He's in there. I
Oh,
think he's the only Pittsburgh jock in there. But Porky preceded all of them, including Alan Freed, because he started in 1948 at a
oh,
place called
sure.
WHOD in Homestead, which became Whammo in Pittsburgh. And
Oh,
he had a brain tumor. In fact, yesterday I just received his rocking chair, which is out in my living room right now.
Okay. I saw
Um,
you saw a
yeah,
photo of that on
and you might
Facebook.
have, yeah, that's where I think my little girl is probably going to nurse the baby. But it was so great. I mean, finally got that damn thing down there. But when Porky had a brain tumor back in the '90s, Wolfman came in for nothing and emceed the show, sang, had a great time. What a wonderful man he was. What a great
Oh
guy.
man.
And then he was on his damn book tour, ran himself down, came home, and basically collapsed in his wife's Lou's arms, dead of a heart attack.
On
That
the
was
Independence Day too. It was
what was
95,
it? Was it really? Yeah, I
30
don't
years
remember the
ago.
exact
Over
date, but
30 years ago.
oh my. But what a
Yeah.
sweet man. What a wonderful guy.
See, that's the guy that wasn't afraid of making a legacy for himself because whether he knew
No.
what he was doing or not, because most of us don't know what we're doing until we finally figure it out. But it's like I'm kind of like that too. Where for me, it's like I know I'm not nobody. I'm not trying to get a big head about anything or whatnot. But I get a little humbled, when I'm able to do interviews nowadays because and I have ever since I started because it made me feel more closer to people that I actually respect in the industry.
Sure.
The hardworking men and women. That some people, or some people that you might know, some people you might not know, some of the
Right.
underdogs, of the entertainment industry. But it's pretty much it's fun. I enjoy it. And you talk about me and Gene. I actually interviewed him twice. I interviewed him back in
Did you
2014.
really?
Yeah,
Oh
2014, and then
my.
there's a interview from 2015, the day after the 2015 Royal Rumble that Roman
Yeah?
Reigns won. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
literally was
God.
chatting with him. Yeah, so when he
I
passed away, I was surprised. That I was heartbroken.
I really wasn't expecting it. I because we used to get together, Colleen and I mean, I would get a call from him usually Tuesday morning and say, Eddie, It's Gino. Show up at Moe's, 4 o'clock, and bring the tomato, meaning my wife, the tomato. And so we go down there, have a couple drinks, or have a, we used to take him out on when I worked for Nick Summers, he had a boat, and Gene would show up with like half the Publix deli, and then a big handle of what was it? Not Sky, but one of the vodka things. And if we didn't catch fish, by God, we caught a buzz.
I kind of figured that, he seemed like he was kind of like a party guy, like always a party guy, always in a good mood. Never really saw him in a bad mood ever. I loved him when he announced. I loved how he interviewed. I mean, he just constant professional.
He was just the best. I mean, he was just a wonderful, sweet man, and I miss him.
He was born. He was born 4 or 5 hours away from where I'm from.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. He's because he had a place up there, and I think Jeannie sold it. Jeannie, his wife.
It's not there no more.
Yeah,
it was at like a local casino or gas station.
Yeah.
I've been there before. On my way home.
Yeah,
I used to live in South Dakota. I used to live in Rapid City. Too.
He was an old agency promoter guy, and people, they always said, what you guys talk about? Anything but wrestling. We always talked about radio and all that crap because he was a Coil guy, Koil guy, and we talk more about radio than we talk about wrestling. I mean, I knew everything I needed to know about that.
He was also a musician too. Like he actually did.
Yeah, he was a singer.
He actually did. So I had some stuff on Spotify that I found.
Well, he was a singer. I mean, back I think in the early '60s, he had a group that. He was a talented son of a bitch. I love him. I mean,
and how he got to wrestling, I'm still kind of shocked. Oh God, because he doesn't. I mean, he didn't look like a wrestling announcer or like a wrestling interviewer.
I think Vern Gagne's company
needed
AWA? Somebody, and they said we need an announcer, bring a suit, because I think he was with the ad agency that was promoting their stuff at that time, and I think that's how that came from. I might be if I'm misquoting, somebody will correct me, I'm sure, but I mean, I think that's how it was. But I mean, you'd have loved him. You'd have loved him.
I'm sure I would have, because when we did the interviews, I wasn't sure what was going to come from that. I just let it ride a bit, because that's normally what I do anyway. I just whatever happens.
He rolled with the punches, man. He was one of the best. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So with you working for WWE or the WWF at the time, before it went to WWE, I mean, were you always a lifelong wrestling fan? I imagine.
Growing up in Pittsburgh, we used to have wrestling on, what was it, Saturdays or Sundays or something or other, and it was hosted by a guy named Bill Cardill, Chilly Billy, and Bill used to have a horror show at night on television as well, and WWF wanted to hire him to go on the road for a time. But Chilly Billy, you'll see him in the original Night of the Living Dead. He's the news announcer. Okay. And then on the one that Tom Savini directed in, what was it, 90, Bill was on there with just a different toupee. And he was, I mean, we watched wrestling. Bruno Sammartino was from my hometown, Pittsburgh. And, wrestling was everywhere. Wrestling was probably, I don't know if people realize, but wrestling was one of the first features on television when it came out, because it was so inexpensive to produce. And so, it was everywhere. And it was one of the first things that people watched.
Are you talking after they were talking about it was like after the whole, they thought it was like a circus thing at the time. Or whatever, more like entertainment like that, like vaudeville type of stuff at that time.
Well, it was just something that was very cheap to produce in the early days of television. Back when, on the Dumont Television Network, you had Haystacks Calhoun, you had Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, and, probably the Fabulous Moolah. I mean, you
Sure.
had all those people, and it was cheap to produce, and they would have rings a lot of times at the television stations where they would bring the guys in and they would just do their thing, and that lasted. I bet you it lasted well into the '70s. I know in Pittsburgh it must have. But we used to watch it. I mean, became a semi fan and everything else. And of course, when the WWF came up and basically took it national, that's when I really, really took notice to it. And
Sure.
I never thought I'd be working for them in any capacity. But then again, the funny thing is, I mean, I'm probably known more as a voiceover guy for sports, and I don't follow sports. My wife, she's a Bostonian. She follows Boston sports. She finds, but I don't. I don't know. We'll watch ball games and everything else, and I'm the hockey announcer, and there are a lot of parts of that game I don't get. I don't
Me
know all
too.
the
Me
nuances of what they're doing. So I mean, I'm just having fun. I mean, I'm just there. For me, sports used to be just an excuse to drink beer.
Sure, sure. But if you're talking about music or something like that, like on the radio or whatever,
Yeah.
that would be more your interest because it seems like you're kind of old school. You kind of like because I'm old school too when it
I'm
comes
I'm
to
too old
music.
school, actually. Yeah.
Well,
My
hey, I grew up.
my
My dad got me into Buddy Holly. That was the first artist that I got
Oh, there you go.
into.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, one of the early guys. Absolutely. Sure.
So I mean, with Bobby V and all that, or Robbie V,
Well,
that's
I
Bobby
saw
V's
that
son.
Bobby
Yeah,
V. I'm like, where the hell did this come from? Because yeah, I mean, he was
yeah.
his hits were in the early '60s. I mean,
Yeah.
and sadly
Well,
he's passed
because
he's
they're
passed
all from
away.
close from the
Yeah.
area where I'm from. I'm not
Sure.
that far though.
Yeah.
I live in northern Minnesota, so it's like
Yeah.
I'm not that far from everybody.
Well, I worked with a lot of the early groups, certainly back in Pittsburgh. I used to be kind of a road manager for the Marcells, and they did a
Oh,
song called Blue Moon, Bomba Ba
oh
Bomba,
yes,
Bomba Bomba, and
uh-huh.
the bass man was one of my dearest buddies in the world. He's passed away a few years ago, and
Sure.
the Skyliners and the Vogues and the
Wow.
Fenways and and so I used to do a lot of that, and of course that's what I played on the radio back in Pittsburgh when I first started out. And
Did they ever
naturally,
let you sing? Did they
people
ever
thought I
let you
was there.
sing?
What's that?
Did they ever let you sing with them at all? Because you seem like you could actually do the whole Blue Moon chorus, the whole
Some
Blue Moon.
somewhere there's a video of me with Freddie, and I probably had, I don't know, maybe a couple or too many scotch and sodas or something, and I'm singing lead. And I
Oh,
forget and I forget the lyrics. I said, "This is why I never sang because I totally forgot." And I rehearsed. I used to manage the band that backed them, and I couldn't remember the damn lyrics. And there
okay.
I am, and Freddie's doing his blah blah blah, and then a buddy of mine's shooting it, and it's up on social media somewhere where I'm
Okay.
singing, and I have no business singing at all. But I mean,
Well,
but
it's just
yeah,
because your voice is so bassy, so it's like automatically bassy, so you have that gift if you're gonna do any low end stuff at
yeah.
all.
Well, but
Mhm.
Freddie was the bass man. He was singing the bass, and I was doing the the tenor
Yeah,
lead. So
I'm
no,
sure, sure,
no,
sure.
I have no business doing that ever again. If I ever do, shoot me.
So what was that experience? What was that experience like to be around all these groups and all these talented individuals and everything, for that sort of for
They
part
were
of your
they,
time?
they they were just my friends. They were just people I'd known a lot of the years. I mean, I don't what was it? I mean, I don't know. They were just people. You know, they were just people.
But
I mean,
you didn't think of them as talented
I
individuals. You with your
well,
friends and everything. Yeah.
I grew up with Mr. Rogers and Arnie
Uh-huh.
Palmer, and my mother was a
Sure.
nurse anesthetist at a hospital in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, and so I mean, a lot of these people I met through her, and ultimately I ended up doing, hell, I was doing a national ad campaign with Arnie Palmer for 84 Lumber, and
Oh,
that was I would say that was probably the only pairing of two Latrobe High School graduates ever in a national advertising campaign, which we did back in the mid '90s, I guess. But Mr. Rogers was just a wonderful man. I mean,
Oh, legend.
last and that Tom Hanks movie was right on the money. Last time I saw Mr. Rogers was at the AFTRA, which is the Union Radio and Television Union, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. Now it's SAG-AFTRA, Screen Actors Guild.
Sure.
But it was at Channel 11, or I'm sorry, Channel 13, WQED in Pittsburgh. And I ran into him and I said, Mr. Rogers, how you doing? He said, well, how have you been? Because I used to see him and he'd ask, how's school? Well, good was not an answer because he said, no, who do you see? Who do you know? What you do? And you'd be on there talking about your school day for 20 minutes. I'm like, well, this got to bore the balls off this guy. But that was just the way it was. So anyway, I said, Mr. Rogers, how he goes, how long have we known each other? I said, well, probably since I was old enough to stand. He said, you can call me Fred. I said, no, I can't. And I meant it. I could not. And he was just the nicest, wonderful man. And I remember at that same Channel 13, the after 50th, I was supposed to take this real hot blonde that I was going out with at the time. She couldn't make it. So somebody talked me into taking this other chick. So I took her, and she had I don't know how many glasses of champagne. And they had all of the X the Owls, the tree, and the train, and all the props from because, right there at Channel 13 where they shot the thing.
Yeah.
And she goes and trips and falls into X the Owl's tree. Me and another broadcaster, we grabbed it and put it up. I said, that's the quickest way to be the most hated motherfucker in America if you fuck up X the Owl's tree.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
But we saved it. We were good. Yeah, that's an absolute true story. And
so Mr. Rogers allowed alcohol.
Well, yeah, you could get everybody was boozing it up. But I mean, but I don't think Fred ever knew that story.
Well, what surprised me is that did Fred drink at all? Was he a big drinker? Because he didn't seem like he was.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Okay.
But but they had a bar. It was an after. It was the big 50th anniversary. So
Sure, it's a celebration. Of course.
Let's face it. We broadcasters are pretty big boozers.
Well, I didn't know that till now. I tell you.
Oh no! Oh well. Well, come on for happy hour.
Hey, salute. I'm drinking a root beer.
This ain't apple juice.
No. This ain't root beer. You will drink beer. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Been a fun ride.
Well, yeah. I mean, I suppose around that time, did you also? I mean, you probably knew Michael Keaton too because he's from Pittsburgh. He worked with.
I've never. Well, I know he did. Yeah, but I never met him. He was just back in town because they have a Walk of Fame in town, and he was back to accept his little attribute a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I've never met him. No,
okay,
he's one that I never had any connection.
Well, when I found out that he was working for Fred Rogers back in the day, that's just like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Good, great actor.
So with you being in the industry for as long as you have, I mean, who are some of your heroes in the voiceover world? You gotta have some.
The voiceover world. Wow. Well, there were a lot of them that I looked up to. In fact, I just heard from Charlie Van Dyke. His cat just passed away, and I just happened to post something up there. And Charlie, he was on Los Angeles radio for many years, and Ernie Anderson, who was the voice of ABC, tonight it's the Love Boat. He used to do that. He was I was a big fan of his. I mean, there's so many of them, and when you get into the business, I mean, you're so influenced by these people that you become an amalgam of all of them at some point, and I guess I'm no exception. I mean,
I'm sure you're somebody's hero. I'm sure somebody looked up to you to get a job in the industry. Probably you just don't know it. Probably.
I no, I don't, but I appreciate it if that's the case. I mean, I'm grateful. Believe me. I mean, if I was able to influence anybody in a positive way, then by all means, I'm delighted.
Well, well, yeah. I mean, because you've done so much stuff. I mean, that's why I'm surprised that you're not a. I mean, more like known, like more in Hollywood, like TMZ. Oh, we're
I
doing
don't
the
want to be
latest
known.
report on Ed. It's like,
I don't want that. I don't want that. I mean, if people
nobody wants
recognize
that, but
no, if people know my voice and appreciate what I did, they don't need to know who Ed Weigel is. When I walk in, I don't look for that. No, that's just not me. I
so
mean,
no upcoming documentary, no upcoming movie or book or
no, no. I was supposed to do a couple movies. I remember there was one, and I won't name it, but and the director was very well known. And anyway, my friend Irene signed me up for it, and she said, "We just have to sign this thing that said you'll do it." And they went through all these stars, and I mean, there was Bill Murray, um, who, Joanne Woodward, and whatever. I said, "Jesus Christ, Irene!" I said it was an actor. I didn't say it was a good one. And as it turned out, well, the two people who were supposed to star in it died within a day of each other. And I will not say who they are. You can figure that
okay,
out. Yeah.
okay.
And that was kind of the end of the project. And it kind of it irritated me. It was I think we're supposed to shoot it in Florida somewhere. But I mean I thought I
Very,
would
very recent
love
or very recent or
in the last few years,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It was I will say it was a mother and a daughter.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay. I think I know who you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I have an idea too.
And the son was supposed to direct. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And I thought,
Oh.
damn, I wish that would have happened, but it didn't. But I mean,
Wow. And
that would have been a.
had these people have done it, it probably would have changed your life even more, probably.
Well, I was supposed to play an announcer. I wasn't gonna have a big part. I mean, like I
Oh,
say, I'm not Laurence Olivier, but I mean, I was gonna have a part, and I thought, holy shit, all these people are talking about all these names and wonderful people who I do respect for their what they do, but
well,
again, I'm a
what
voice
about
guy.
yeah, but what about like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I mean, since you had some radio career and everything, and also did all these, all these voices
Well,
singing for everything and all that. I mean, did
I've
I know interest you either at all, or
I've been
ever?
to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In fact, I
No, but to be
broadcast
a
from their
part of it,
studios.
to be part of like their be a member, be an actual like Hall of Famer from because of everything that
No.
you've done.
Well, I've not done anything to merit being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean,
Yeah,
my mentor Porky Chedwick isn't even inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's on, and he was before Alan Freed and
yeah,
everybody in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But he's not in there.
yeah.
It's such a political piece of shit. The Rock
It
and Roll
is.
Hall of Fame. I'm not a fan. I will say it's a beautiful museum. They've got one of the nicest broadcast studios I've ever worked out of. But as far as they lost their manifest years ago in the fact that they wanted to honor the people, the founders of rock and roll, of that music. And something went dreadfully wrong because
Sure.
there are a lot of people who really belong in there, and they're putting these fucking assholes who have had one hit and just because they're popular. They're basically they're playing to the younger crowd, I think,
Well, it's
because
almost kind of like what if you notice,
nobody's
like,
nobody's going to know the Johnny Maestro and the Crest. Nobody's going to know the Skyliners. Nobody's going to know a
uh,
lot of these groups that who really were founders of the business. It's political, 100%
well,
political, and I hope you cocksuckers are watching this too.
well, it's kind of like the Super Bowl. Like even if you
Yeah,
don't follow sports, you kind of know that what's been going on in the Super Bowl every year for the last 5 or 6 years. That's been nothing but rap groups and everything,
yeah,
or
yeah, 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 yeah. Bullshit,
yeah,
bullshit. Doesn't belong.
yeah,
Should be the Music Hall of Fame. Change it to the
yeah.
Music Hall of Fame. But yeah, oh, oh boy, you just pissed me the hell off with that con. But I mean, yeah, I mean, you struck a chord with me because that's really something that irritates the piss out of me
Oh,
about the Rock and Roll Hall
well,
of Fame. You know,
yeah. I mean,
it's
well, I mean, I feel the same way because I've been paying attention to it too, and it's just like it just doesn't make any sense. It
yeah,
should just be
no,
called the Music
not at
Hall of Fame.
all.
I understand that. Yeah,
No, not at all, not at all. So I mean, yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, you got the old German Pittsburgher coming up there,
Uh-oh.
and I'm sorry about that, but I'm
We'll talk
obviously
about that.
I'm not yelling at anybody here. I'm just saying,
No, no,
Rock
no,
and Roll
no.
Hall of Famers. If you put these people in there, if you have any influence, right here.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, like I was saying before, I mean, you did a lot of work in the WWE. What's some of your favorite spots that you've done, or
Wow,
promotions that you've done that you can remember?
well, we did. I mean, I did everything. I mean, from 1990 or what did I say? 2001 until
Yeah, yeah.
well, really before I got sick with cancer and had to pull out a little bit. I all the pay-per-views, WrestleManias. I mean, I've attended WrestleManias. I don't really think that there's any, one thing in particular that I did that really stands out.
Okay.
It was
Because
kind
I
of
mean,
a,
a lot of them
kind
are
of
cool
day to
events.
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of day to day. I mean, when I would attend them, I mean, that was fun. But
And
I
I
don't
imagine
remember
they
anything.
treat you. I imagine they treat you pretty good as far as give you a really good seat and everything, or did you have a skybox? I'm sure,
Well,
or
we
did
we
you
we'd
front
we'd
row?
we'd be in the box with the promoters. Yeah,
Okay.
because I didn't really work. I mean, I didn't work with. I mean, I worked with live events department.
Okay.
I would see some of the superstars that we had, and
Okay.
I got along with many of them. They were nice people, really nice
Were
people,
they aware
and
of your work? Were they aware that you were the guy, the announcing
in
guy
in,
for?
in many cases, yeah, they were.
Okay.
In many cases, they were. I mean, Kurt Angle is from Pittsburgh,
Yes.
and I got to know him a little bit, and I said, the funny thing is, I said we used to hang around at the same clubs. How the hell we never met, I don't know. But I mean, he would. I'd see him around. Of course, Gene Okerlund, one of my
Yeah.
dearest friends for forever. Uh, and Hulk. I knew Hulk for many years. I don't know. It was just part of the gig.
Just good times. I mean,
Yeah.
and now it seems like nowadays with the new ownership and everything, they want to charge people like you gotta get like a loan from the bank to get a front row ticket. They want to charge $11,000 for the John Cena last match at the Saturday Night's main event coming up.
I can't. I'm not even going to comment on that. But you're right. You're right. And a lot of people, I remember a person who I worked with said it was once upon a time it was a family business. Now it's a totally different atmosphere working there. And and you'll have that because a big corporation just took it over and made it into their own. But that's that happens. That happens, and I'm not knocking them at all. I mean, it's just what happens. And
Are you are you
you know,
familiar with are you familiar with AEW at all? You ever watch AEW at all or
I
anything? All
no,
the wrestling or
I don't hardly even watch television anymore.
okay.
No, I don't. I mean, I really don't. I don't. I mean, I used to have to literally when I would put the WWE spots together, I had a recording device on the television because a lot of times I would call up to Connecticut.
Okay.
And I'd say, I need voice bites from this person, this person, this, but they'd send me a bunch of crap. I can't
Uh-huh.
use this. So I'd tape it myself. And they're like, yeah, go ahead. I had carte blanche when I would produce those things like you wouldn't believe, you know? And they'd say,
Sure.
just do what you do. Just do what you do. And, that's kind of the way my voiceover career is right now because I mean people know what I'm going to do. If I look at a piece of copy, I know where it's going to go, and there's like just be you,
Okay.
and
So so
that means you've had a career and you're ready to die. So,
no, no,
but I
no,
mean,
no,
yeah,
no, no.
yeah,
Well,
just yeah, be yourself.
what I was going to say is like, okay, so I mean, obviously there's been lots of things that you've done, but is there ever been something you said to yourself that I can't do this? This is just going to get me in trouble if I do this or whatever, or if
Not
it's worded
really.
weird or
Well,
asked to do some really weird request, we'll say.
not really. There was a fun
Okay.
session I did for Peru, of all places, and it was for a cable company. And they wanted me to talk like Daffy Duck and like you have a speech impediment. I said they would shit a brick if you tried this over here in the United States. People would be busting you. But I had a blast doing it. And
Oh,
it's up on social media somewhere. I said,
okay.
they said, can you talk like Daffy Duck? I said, you got to be kidding. Really? I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot. And that was fun. That was fun. But it was cool. Yeah, because again, you never knew who was going to be on the other end of that phone whenever they would call and ask for some ridiculous stuff. I mean, in the Aerosmith music video that I did, Legendary Child, first album in 12 years. Got a call one day. Guy said, my name is Casey and I'm sitting here with Steven Tyler, and we've got your demo tape, and we'd like you to do some music videos with us. I'm like, what the fuck? And he said, are you in front of a TV or are you in front of your uh, monitor? I said, yeah. He goes, look me up. I looked him up. By God, the guy was legitimate. And so
Okay.
Stephen wrote a straight version of the narration. If you go online and look up "Legendary Child" music video by Aerosmith,
I actually did hear that. I
yeah,
watched it while I got to know you a little bit.
yeah. And then he wrote a straight version, and then Steven said, "No, I want to take this, beyond the goofiness."
Yeah.
And so then he rewrote it, and that's what we went with. Sadly, what happened was, Sony Records nixed the other music videos because the on sale sucked, you know,
Oh,
and it was a shame. Yeah,
yeah.
and I've never spoken to any of the guys with Smith, and we got two of them living down here in Sarasota. Well, I think Stephen has a place, and I know Steve Perry. Yeah, I think Steve Perry has a place in Bird
Okay.
Key.
Or
Bird
Tyler
Key
Perry.
down.
I don't know
Yeah.
if it's Tyler Perry. Maybe it's not Tyler Perry. Maybe it's Steve Perry. Yeah, Steve Perry, that's with Journey, I think, or whatever, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say? Steve Perry. What in the hell am I thinking of? I mean, Steven Tyler.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you know who
Yeah,
I'm talking
Joe
about.
Perry,
What
I
the
think
hell?
it is.
Joe
I think
Perry.
it's
Joe
Joe
Perry.
Perry.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
Aerosmith. Aerosmith's always been a good
yeah.
band to me. Um,
Okay.
well, first of all, I want to thank you for doing this interview. I got like one more question to ask you. This is
Sure,
probably is
sure.
the most personal question I'm going to ask you. But it has to do with your career. Um, so compare back in the day to now. Like, how was it like when you would record something, like that process, and like explain to people like the changes from like how much easier it is now to do what you do compared to back in the day.
Well, I mean, years ago when I was doing this stuff for HBO and Cinemax, I would have to wait for FedEx or Purelator or somebody to come and pick up a tape, a physical tape that they would have to deliver to New York City.
Sure.
And this microphone I'm using right now, there's a story behind it. It used to be an on-air microphone at KDKA Radio in Pittsburgh. The audio director at KDKA Television was a dear friend of mine, and he hated the microphone I was using when I was doing the HBO and stuff. He gave me this microphone because they would pull these microphones out of there and they'd let them rot over at the KDKA transmitter site. So he had this thing re-ribboned and given to me, and I'm still using it. And that was in 1985. Yeah, and here it is. Boom, boom, boom. And so, but anyway, yeah, I was using, the technology was different. I mean, it was all analog. We had no digital. I think I probably had one of the first digital machines that I used to do when I was doing the 84 Lumber stuff with Arnie Palmer, which was a little 4-track. And boy, was that a pain in the ass because you had to dub off every single one of them. No MP3s. Now, if I have to have 500 copies of something, all I got to do is make an MP3, and boom, out the door through email they go. So it was a real royal pain in the ass to do it, and people don't understand that because you're younger than I am, and you don't remember what it was to even queue up a turntable. Well,
Yeah,
you
I never
might,
had
but
that
yeah.
experience at all. Well, I
Oh
mean,
God, yeah.
by the time I got in, they were just getting rid of
Well,
the cart.
it was a quarter turn for a 45, so the thing wouldn't skip. So that was that's how you did. And I forget what it was for a 33. How
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
No, they were getting rid of carts by the time I got, that started using the computer for
and the
MP3.
carts, yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. I got cart machines over. I got cart machine right behind me. I don't know if yeah, there it
yeah,
is.
I see that.
Yeah, yeah. That's
It's
about
like
a
a proton
1960.
shop.
Yeah, that's I had a guy down here in Tampa re-engineer that thing for me because I have some old carts I was trying to get some stuff off of,
Oh,
and I've had that damn thing for 40 years. So yeah, but
amazing.
I had cart machines, and a cart is cartridge. For those of you not in radio, we call them carts because well, here's one. They look like an 8-track, but they're not. See,
Okay, yeah, 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 yeah. I
there's no
see it.
pincher head in there, and you just pop them in there, and the head pops up, and that's what
Oh,
runs your
sure.
tape. That's how it works. So you know, I I needed to get some stuff off some of these carts, and he was kind enough to put this thing together again for me. But I'll probably never use it again. I think I paid him like $700 to fix the fucking thing. But I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do?
But I do
So,
remember too how easy it was. Like, okay, because in the studio that I was at the college, they had
mhm.
us for a class anyway, make a commercial and put it on a tape. But I also remember they also had a machine that was a magnet. Like if you were close to that magnet, that it was going to erase
A
all your stuff.
degosser. That,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a degosser. It's a magnetic thing, and you would take those things and run them over there, and it would erase the tape. You had to
yeah,
watch, and you had to do it well, because if you didn't, when you tried to re-record over this, if you didn't do it well enough, you'd have bloop, 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 in the middle of the goddamn spot, and you'd make
oh
a mess
yeah.
of it. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it was. God, I don't even own a degosser now. And then now I want to get one. I don't know what I'm going to do with them.
well, Christmas time's coming, so what the heck?
Jeez. But
Well,
yeah,
man, I appreciate this. I really, really do. Because I mean, you didn't have to say yes, but I'm glad you did.
well, I'm
And I
glad
mean,
you asked me.
I feel like I got a friend for life, because you just
Absolutely.
so sweet and
Well,
everything.
I'll
I didn't
help
mean
you
to.
out in whatever
I didn't
way I
mean to.
can, my friend.
I didn't mean to piss you off with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I didn't know I didn't know you felt that way about it. I had no clue. So I just
Oh
figured.
no, I'm not pissed off. I am on their end,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
not
yeah.
not to you, but I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
I just don't like the whole concept of their selection process and all the political horse shit that they
Oh,
put a
sure.
lot of the people who truly should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Oh,
and I
absolutely.
don't give a fiddler's fuck who knows it too,
That's
and
right. That's
particularly
right.
those who make the decisions. And I'll go to my grave saying that.
Well, hopefully not
So,
anytime soon, though. We want to keep you
well, I
around for.
hope not too. I'm not planning on checking out here. I mean, not ready to grab my hat yet. Not ready for a toupee either. But yeah,
Well,
that's
but hey, like I said, I do appreciate it, and I'll never forget this, my friend. This was quite the honor. You know.
anytime,
All
anytime.
right.
Hope
All
everybody
right.
has a great time, and thanks for dealing with
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Doing all these things that we do, right? All right, everybody, this is me, Frankie Sauce, along with Ed Weigel, and we'll see you again for another great interview here on Frankie Sauce's Renegade Radio.
You got it, buddy. Anytime.